Welcome back to another day, guys. It is absolutely crazy today. It's Friday. Have my coffee, of course. Now, before I started, guys, I want to talk about the chip manufacturers and what an impact it is on the stock market. As we could see, the majority of the big chip manufacturers today are completely down. There is a reason for this. Now, I created a video yesterday. Actually, I went live yesterday because I believe it's easier to get to you guys in a very faster time frame. I will be creating more live videos, more live content, because that way I could do my trading and I could actually speak to someone that's out there. Now, I was away for most part of the morning today, and I just got back in to check up on how things have been actually playing out. Happy to say, hopefully, you guys got in and DIDI again. Hopefully, you guys got in and DIDI. We saw yesterday close at below $2.52 in the aftermarket. I picked up some shares. Guys, it's very beneficial for you if you're trading. Try to get in on the auctions in the aftermarket. We saw a ton of movement yesterday in the aftermarket for DIDI. Drops, I believe, at one point down like 13% to $2.51. So I got in just around $2.52, an average fill out 253. Now we're able to sell this morning at $3.15. Guys, it's very important. Make sure that you're locking in these profits, because a lot of times what happens is that we get excited and we want more, we want more, we want more. But we saw it went up this morning basically from 253 to 315. So it was a no-brainer. That was an easy 24% in profit that we took home with us. Now, the reason why the stock was traded lower yesterday, because there was a ton of information in terms of the ongoing political relationship with China and US, in terms of delisting some of the Chinese companies. And then the stock was seeing a very bad day. We saw with Alibaba as well, closed off yesterday, I believe, below $109 per share. Well, we saw it went up as high as 118 this morning. But I was very excited in terms of DIDI. Now, if you go in long term, you can still take some profit at the top, and then obviously as it comes back down, you can rebuy up some shares to make sure that you're either keeping your average lower, or you're taking profit and you rebuy, or you selling, wait, and then use the profit to go back in. So that's it about DIDI. It's very self-explanatory. There is a huge upside for DIDI. Huge potential there in the long run. So if you're holding on, if you got in the $10 to $16 per share, then definitely wait it out. Keep buying shares if it drops lower, and then to lower your average, keep buying and selling if you have the time, or if you just want to sit back, let it do its thing, then that's fine as well. Now, GameStop have been performing extremely well in the last 2 weeks. If you guys have been noticing, I believe 2-3 weeks back, we saw GameStop breaks below $76 per share in the aftermarket and in the pre-market trading. And then since that time, we have seen a GameStop have returned more than 150%. If you haven't been noticed, keep an eye. Yesterday as well, in my last live stream, I'm not sure if I mentioned to you guys that, hey, we want to go in at 160. In the aftermarket yesterday, it crosses $204, so we're able to get some profit on GameStop as well. Now, GameStop is very tricky because of the outside investment that they start to take part in, so that's kind of pushing the stock in a positive way. But again, make sure that you guys are actually doing your research. If you're not a part of that trade, just leave it alone. Save the headache in the long run. Now, the main purpose of this video basically is I wanted to talk about the chip manufacturers the China crisis with US, how it's impacting the investment, and the Russian, the Ukraine situation that's going on, how it's impacting the chip manufacturers as well, and to see where you guys stand in terms of investing. Now, we won't really go in the political sense of things. This is strictly just information in terms of what we're saying. Now, we'll be streaming, I guess, for 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes. I am doing some trading as we're going on. So the market kind of stalled for a bit right now. So don't really want to let this free time go, basically. I'm just trying to put time into it to see if I can speak to someone out there. Guys, you got to follow principle if you're investing. Take this from me. We all make mistakes in the past. Try to invest in a company that you're thoroughly research, that you're completely, that you're confident will make a huge run for it. Like, for example, with DIDI, I've been telling you guys, each time it drops anywhere in the 180 to 230 mark, you got to go in. Fortunately, yesterday in the aftermarket, we saw 249 at one point. So you got to go in and take some shares, make sure that you're actually capitalizing. Now, the same go as well for Clever Leaves. I'll let you guys know that, hey, there is a big decision that's actually just driving everyone crazy. It's Friday, and we still haven't heard a go, or if they decide to legalize this thing. And I am being very skeptical. I'm fearing that they will announce this at the closing of market, and then the people that would benefit from this is people who invest in the aftermarket and in the pre-market for Monday. In most cases, if they announce this, say between 2 to 4 p.m., it would give more people opportunities. But I have a strong feeling this decision is going to be announced at the end of trading day, or when the market is closed, and then you will find out Monday or Tuesday, whatever the case is. But if you can take the risk, again, guys, for companies like Tilray and Canopy Growth and Aurora Cannabis, they're extremely low right now. So if they do fall a little bit lower, you're not that exposed. Now, companies such as Clever Leaves, we have seen it recovers almost 200-300%. So you may see a bigger loss if the decision doesn't go in terms of what we're expecting. Now, let's jump into the chip manufacturers. This is what's happening right now. If you're on the market, you have noticed that, or big guns in terms of the chip manufacturers, these guys are completely trading lower than what we're usually seeing. So this is a concern for all of us. Now, if we take a look, for example, at Intel, we see that Intel is trading today at below $47.45. Now, we've seen it early in the morning at $47.33, but it opens up the day just around $49.83. But since that time, it's down 4.5%. If you guys are looking to invest in a chip manufacturer, as usual, the main gun that is more of the respectable investment for in the chip industry, you may want to take a look at Intel. Now, I've been in Intel for a very long time. The reason why I started the video with this one as the first in the chip manufacturer is because I won't sell Intel. I will be holding this stock for a very long time. Each time it gets into these levels, worst case scenario is I'd buy more shares into the company and keep holding. Now, keep in mind as well, Intel pays a dividend of 2.9% yield. So that's pretty okay. Not the best, but it's still close to 3% that you're making in dividends. So if you want to hold on to that stock, I would say that Intel is a great stock to hold on. Now, if we take a look in the last 2 years, we have seen that Intel at some point breaks $66 per share. We have seen it gone down to as low as $44 per share, but it seems to always recover. But if you're looking in the long run, It's a no-brainer. It's a good stock to hold. Now, I will be telling you guys why these stocks are actually trading lower than it is right now. So make sure that you try to watch the video to the end. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any different suggestion in terms of why you think the stock is going down. But I think Intel is still a great opportunity at below $48 per share to buy and hold these shares. Now, next on my list right now, obviously AMD. Now, I like AMD because, again, in my background, guys, you understand if you're subscribed to this channel since day one, you understand that I came from a tech background. So Intel, AMD was kind of one-sided for me personally because I used to invest more in tech companies such as Intel, such as AMD, such as Apple. For sure, Tesla in the very, very early stage, I get in dirt cheap. My average was lower than $35 per share once the split happened. So in terms of those company, Microsoft as well, um, I was more into the tech companies because obviously my background is from a tech, so I was more favoritism to invest in tech companies. So AMD, I'm in it a very, very long time as well, but I sold at its peak and now I'm rebuying shares slowly. Now, if you have the opportunity to bought in, say, last summer or last spring, when AMD was trading below $80 per share, then that's still a great hold for you. Now, if you purchase AMD in the last, say, 6 months, if we take a look back since like November in the high 140 to 50, then definitely this is a great opportunity for you to buy more shares to actually lower your average. Wait until the stock starts to go up. If you don't want to hold too many shares at that point, you can decide if you want to let some shares go. Right now, keep in mind as well the difference with AMD, as you guys know, if you're comparing with Intel, then there's no dividends, right? But in terms of an upside, AMD will make a great push for it, and I think it's still a great buy if you're looking for a decent company in the semiconductor game that you know have a variety or many different products. Then you know you're in the right place. Now, the giant in the room that start to looks like the guy that will take full control, if you're not aware, is NVidia. Right? NVIDIA is trading today at $200.65. NVIDIA to me is a company that you should do proper research. Now, I don't have any more NVIDIA shares because obviously I like to take my profit wherever my goal is set. And as soon as it starts to drop, definitely I always use a security blanket by just selling and waiting. I am strongly considering going back into NVIDIA. However, because I'm heavily invested in Intel and in AMD, Microsoft, Tesla, all those companies, even Tesla is still a chip manufacturer. They're making their own chips, right? So I would love to be in AMD. I'd love to be in NVIDIA, I should say, because NVIDIA for the future I think will be one of the main beneficiary of the EV market. We have seen that Nvidia is closing a lot of deals to be able to stay in the EV market. So if you're looking in that long run in the next 3 to 5 years or later, Nvidia is going to be a monster. Again, if you are in the tech industry or if you're a regular user, at some point you use all of these company guys. For example, but you got to start invest in tech companies, right? I own an iPhone. You probably own an iPhone. For example, I have a MacBook, so definitely I'm an Apple customer. I have a desktop, which is Windows, so I'm a Microsoft customer. My video card is from NVIDIA. So you have to invest in companies that you strongly believe in. Now, my CPU is AMD. Now, I've used Intel CPU in other servers that I have running, but my actual CPU I'm using right now in this and a custom made desktop that I made is an AMD CPU. I'm using NVidia video card. Um, so definitely, I think NVIDIA is a great company with a huge potential. Um, there is big announcement to come in terms of the EV side of things and what they're trying to accomplish. So I definitely think if you guys are looking for a company to invest in, then NVIDIA is definitely a great company for you to start to consider. Now, as usual, guys, I will never tell you to go and invest. Make sure that you do your own research and please invest in company that you're confident in, that you think will make a huge difference, a company with products that's changing lifestyle. Those are companies that could withstand whatever is going on right here. Now, I will go in more details, but I just want to cover a few of these things first. Now, next on my list, for sure, is Taiwan Semiconductor. Now, if you guys are keeping up to date with what's going on, we saw a huge rise in TSM back in the pandemic. So for anyone that got in, say in the below $60 per share, they have made a nice profit in TSM. Hopefully that you guys took some profit. No, by luck, I did some trade on TSM. No, I'm not currently holding shares right now, but it is one of the mega in the industry. So if you're considering that, hey, you want to be in a company with a great upside, you should still consider trying to invest in this Taiwan semiconductor company. Now, there is a few issues that actually is creating a downside, and I will go into it right now for the like chip manufacturers, as what we can say. Now, number one on my screen, again, guys, this is not political, so I just want to keep it in terms of investing. Like, we're not with the war, we're not with whatever is going on. It's just speaking freely. But in terms of the material that we actually rely on to make like semiconductors, the Ukraine and Russia are two of the countries that we actually heavily rely on for neon and for palladium. So AMD, Intel, NVidia, uh, Taiwan Semiconductor. There's a ton of other companies out there that's actually in the chip game, but those are the few that I'm familiar with more that I trust. There's news going around right now that there is a shortage because they're not getting any. Obviously, there's a war going on, so there's not much export that's exporting to the West. So we can see companies such as TSM right now, they're looking to create an alternative source when it comes to making chip. Now, the material normally for neon and palladium is what they normally use, but now they're looking to use something else to help with the supply and demand issue, what's going on. Now, there's also reports that some manufacturers are actually starting to make cars and they're removing chips that they think is not very necessary for the car to work. So basically, there was a report that came out that says Ford is planning to actually sell their cars without chips for AC and for heat. So unless if those cars are, I don't know, in a place that the climate is I would say a warm climate all the year around, and if the person could afford to not use heat, I mean AC, then that's a short term solution. But definitely that's not going to happen in the US or in, I would say, Canada, because okay, we will need the heat for sure in winter. I understand the summertime we can go without, because Ford normally, if they're doing it in the heavy duty trucks, I'm assuming Maybe the logical thing to do is to make it without AC, because then in the summertime you can just open the windows. If you're from the island originally, then it's hot, but it's not a big deal. You will get used to it. But if you live in a climate such as in Canada or New York or in Washington, right, then definitely you will feel that that's not going to happen. So, in long story short, guys, this war in terms of the chip industry, we understand a lot of people are losing their lives. There are families that's losing their home, losing their loved ones, losing their country. It's part of the brutal thing when it comes to war, and we sympathize heavily with what's going on. But from an investment standpoint, it is heavily impacting the chip industry. So if you guys are looking and wondering why the stocks are falling off this morning, you should consider that this is one of the reasons. We see right now that Intel, as said, is 47.45. We saw with AMD is in the 106. We saw NVidia is down 263, so losing 3.5%. And we saw, what is it, Intel, how much is down? Intel is down 4.5%. So this is one of the reasons why we see a huge drop in the chip manufacturers right now, and we are looking forward to it to see when this war will wrap up and when everything go back to normal. We're just coming out of COVID, and this is what's actually is happening right now. So I am going to go offline because I have a 2:30 meeting, so I got to get something up. As usual, guys, invest in companies that you truly believe in. Make sure that you speak to a financial advisor before you go out and invest your money. I strongly believe in trying to buy companies that you believe in. For example, I've been holding Intel for a very long time. I picked up some more shares of AMD this morning. Those are the two in the chip manufacturer that I'm really heavily relying on. But NVIDIA is very, very, very tempting because there's a huge, huge upside to come. Now, again, in the cannabis space, we're still waiting for that news. So I'm watching that part of the market as well. We saw in terms of Tilray was up this morning. It's down back 0.5%. We saw Clever Leaves was up around 15-20%. I think it pulled back as well. We saw Mullen Auto, I would say Mullen Auto was up big. That was when yesterday we saw it pull back this morning. Same goal for Lucid and for Rivian as well. So the market is completely showing signs of what's happening right now. So guys, to make it short, let's try to bang off the week with wins. Protect your capital, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace out.